the season a bit, obviously.
No, well, that's what they can't fight, and they can't put up a good fight, but they want to come out on top in these games, and they're yet. Now, obviously, they didn't lose as bad as the team last night did, and they looked, they looked like I needed to go get the bark bag in the second half last night. That's for sure. There was
talking
no
about your
comeback in
Giants?
that team last night.
You're talking about your New York Giants. But real quick, before we talk about the other teams that played, looking at the Browns coming up here, home opener, you got the New Orleans Saints. Obviously, one thing I want to touch on for those of you that haven't heard, Coach Pettine very clearly yesterday cutting back the reps for Justin Gilbert. He will still play. He's not being benched per se, but he's definitely not going to be out there in 70% of the offense, or excuse me, of the defensive snaps here this game. And the thing that hurts is this is where a guy like True Font, you had kind of hoped that he could jump in and take some of those. Yep. And obviously it hurts not having him for the season. They're going to rely on Barry. But there's a drop off there. I like Barry, but not nowhere near as much as I like True Font. So you've still got the injury with Desir. So as much as they carried these guys, it's not exactly as deep as the Browns make it sound. But Gilbert was picked on time and time again. Roethlisberger, and that's not to absolve Joe Hayden because he got burned a few times too. But Roethlisberger, every time he needed something, he looked Gilbert's way and took a shot at him, all the way down to the last play of the game where he was out of position, slipped and fell, and gave up that 20-yard pass that set them up for the field goal. And he was also the one that was deked on the fake punt as well. It was his lane that was vacated that allowed that to happen. So, Mike Pettine said it best. He said the two positions that you have to live with the learning curve and they can beat you the fastest are quarterback and cornerback. Those are the two places where they can directly affect your game while they're learning, and he's exactly right because, that was one of the big attack points for Ben Roethlisberger in that game time again. Outside of the obvious question of, is he good enough to live up to that first-round pick, that status, which it's too early to talk about after one game, but clearly the Browns are not going to go down with the ship as far as we're not just going to throw him out there and start him because we drafted him. Mike Pettine said he'll play, but he's going to play much less snaps this game, and he's going to have to earn that playing time back, which I agree with because you can't have a spotlight. You can't get beat like that, especially when in the second half your defense is buckling down and taking care of business, and the few big plays that you do give up, it's all targeted towards Gilbert. More than him to blame for the loss, obviously, but that's an area of concern when the New Orleans Saints and Drew Brees are coming to town.
Part of that also is, knowing some of the coaches in the business as I do, there is a system out there for defensive backs and safeties that would be a complete turnaround, for any team, not just the Browns, almost immediately. And one of the guys that was learning it and that uses this particular system where, you key on what the guy's hips are doing and not where the guy's head is. A coach in California that does this work. There are, Jerry, there are quarterback specialists, there are receiving specialists that train guys. This guy's a defensive back specialist. Darrelle Revis was one of the guys that used this system. And that is why he has been so good for so long, was because he was coached by this guy and learned this system. And I think this would be a big help to somebody like Joe Hayden and even to Justin Gilbert. The problem is a lot of these teams, their defensive coordinators don't want to take a step back and bring somebody in, bring consultants in from the outside. The general manager or the head coach will bring in a consultant from the outside, like Tom Moore does with the Cardinals, to work with the passing game. But they won't do that for a defense. There needs to be a change that's addressed. They need to bring in these guys that really and how to defeat the receiver's long passing game.
Browns home opener, what kind of chance do you give the Browns on your game defensively when you're facing somebody as good as Drew Brees and the Saints offense? They've got a chip on their shoulder coming in off of the way they started their season. You don't want to get in a shootout with these guys. You definitely want to lean on that running game and shorten this game a lot. But what odds do you give the Browns here? Can they pull the upset at home and even their season, or do you think there's just too much firepower on the other side?
Depends on who shows up. Okay, if the Browns team shows up that we know they're capable of playing, it's going to be a close game. But if the Browns, that look like the Browns in the first half on Sunday show up, I feel bad. I really do. And I really don't want to see this team go 2-0 personally, but that's what they're staring at right now. That's what they're staring at right now, is 0-2.
I'll tell you, a lot of people are feeling that same way. We'll talk more as we get later in the week into previewing that game here and getting you set up with all the matchups and stuff. But last question for you before we get out of here for the day. It's been a great conversation. Week 1, as you brought up last night, Giants just got manhandled by Detroit, and a nice game there with Arizona and San Diego as well. Looking around the league, we talked about some of those games. Denver, Seattle, you see right off the bat how bad St. Louis is hurt, losing their quarterback the way they did, and looking just a mess there. Even that vaunted defense that people thought they'd be able to rely on definitely had trouble there. Dallas is a mess. You've seen some teams do what you thought. Philadelphia came back from that slow start. The Jets with the win there. Cincinnati with the victory over Baltimore. How about Chicago? First game there without Lovey, they drop, and Buffalo with the overtime victory. Tell me your thoughts. Anything that you were surprised by in Week 1?
I was actually surprised that, the Cardinals played such a close vested game that they did manage to win, because there were parts of that game where it looked like they were just about to go right down the Tidy Bowl. And, I got to hand it to Coach Arians. He hangs in, he keeps it tough, he presses on them. He keeps these guys focused in the game, what's going on. And they wound up with a victory. 1 point, but a victory is a victory. And, obviously I wasn't in last night's game. I was here at home, but I'm going to be there again in a couple of weeks. Having spent, a couple of days down at training camp this summer, I think a lot of people are going to be surprised with the dirty Redbirds. They might just be a wild card team this year in the NFC West.
Well, we talked about that a little bit in the preseason. I'm with you. I'm interested in seeing what Arizona can do there. One of the biggest ones to me this weekend that I was just like, hey, keep an eye out there. I knew Tennessee was going to turn things around here, but you didn't know. Obviously, two teams coming from different places last season. A bit surprised at how dominant they were over Kansas City in that victory there. Tennessee may be putting together some good pieces to rebuild that team and get themselves back with the way they're used to playing Titan football there. That one kind of stuck out to me a lot out of the slate of the first games. And Tampa Bay, too, a little bit surprised there with that game with Carolina. I thought maybe a bit of a better effort there, go around with the Bucks. But, other than that, a lot of it played out the way I did. And I'm going to say it, after Week 1, we got a whole lot more football to play. But Denver and Seattle definitely look every bit the 1-2 that they were last year at the Super Bowl to start off Week 1.
Yeah, you could say that, Jerry. And before you let me go, I just want to throw a quick shout-out. I see that Jeff lined up behind me today instead of ahead of me. And, I just want to throw a shout-out to Jeff because I'm good friends with his boss over at Sports Media 101. I've known Dan Benton for a number of years, and he's actually done a couple of live shows with me on remote sites. So, Jeff, you got a good guy you're working for over there, and I think he knows that you're just as good. So just wanted to throw that out. Jeff's a good guy, and he deserves whatever you guys can give him positive encouragement and words over there for what he's doing.
There you go. All right, Dr. Football, my man, enjoy Week 2 as the action is up, and you and I will catch up on Tuesday and break it all down.
Yeah, man, you have a good week, and it's good that we finally got real football to talk about. And, the only thing aside from that is that we still have to deal with all the off-field stuff at the same time.
Absolutely, my man. So we'll talk about it all next Tuesday. You have a great week. Enjoy the Week 2 action, and we'll catch up next week.
All right, man. You too. Be good.
All right, my man, Dr. Football Bill Chachkes. You guys can tweet with him at Ask Dr. Football, Ask Dr. Football on Twitter. Tweet with him anytime. He loves to talk to you guys. You can tweet with me at the Sports Fix CLE. By the way, while we were finishing up that segment there, saw some different headlines coming across my way here in the news. Saw that there's a report from ESPN here that apparently the police are stating that it would have been against the law for them to give the footage that they had to the newest narrative was legally impossible. NFL. videotape here. I'll get some more details on that. We'll talk about it a little bit later on. Let's take a break. When we come back, Jeff Gorman from Indians101.com going to join us. We'll talk about, well, we won't spend too much time talking about yesterday. Destiny took the day off, getting ready for fantasy football. We'll talk about the preview of the Twin Series and set the stage. Team of Destiny getting back at it tonight. Jeff Gorman joins me from Indians101.com. Coming up next here on the Sports Fix. I guess we're heading into hour 3, I guess.
Warning. Listening to the Sports Fix could cause serious injury, bodily harm, or even death.
Ah, broken blood vessel!
You've been warned. The Sports Fix.
Hey guys, before we go to the break, I want to talk to you a little bit again about our good friends at Harry Buffalo North Olmsted, the UFC, the Ultimate Fighting Championships, some of the hottest fights in the world today. Each and every one of their huge events, Harry Buffalo is one of the few places in Northeast Ohio you can go there and watch each and every UFC fight at the Harry Buffalo. And let me tell you, I've been there. The people are out the door. They are to the rafters. It is one of the craziest environments for some UFC fights. Wing Mondays, they've got great deals on wings and drinks, and every day of the week there's a different special, a different deal. And don't forget the Bison Burger, the unbelievable. It is the combination of a fantastic burger and eating healthy combined into one a Bison Burger while you're there. So whatever you're looking for, Wednesday, Saturday, Sundays, there's something for you at the Harry Buffalo North Olmsted, just outside Great Northern Mall. Check them out today.
Hey, this is Antoine Jameson, and you listen to the Sports Fix.
This is what matters. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in Ohio. This is sportsmanship. School sports. It's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
The Sports Fix is now available every day on the world's largest internet radio service, iHeartRadio. Download the free iHeartRadio app, subscribe to the show, and get your fix.
Need the perfect ingredients for a great tailgating experience? All you need are good friends, football, and your favorite food served. Keep the grill top open when lighting, and don't close it until you're sure the grill is lit. Use soapy water to check for leaks between the hose and cylinder connections. Never use an open flame. Always transport and store cylinders in an upright position, and never store or use cylinders indoors. For more tips, visit usepropane.com. This message was brought to you by your local propane retailer.
Back in 1990, when I joined Herb in the booth, you could say that first game was when I became a lifelong Tribe fan. Something about Cleveland made us want to stay and call it our home, raise our family here. I can promise you one thing, home or on the road, I feel what you folks feel, what you feel every game. Cleveland fans are passionate and pretty vocal. I respect that. This is our team. This is our town. This is a Tribe town.
Hi, this is Dean Chenoweth, head coach of Cleveland's Lake Erie Monsters, and you're listening to the Sports Fix.
Indian Fever. Welcome back to the Sports Fix live across the Sports Fix Radio Network as we head into, well, it's going to be the final segment of the show, but it's going to be the long segment because we've got Jeff Gorman from Indians101.com joining us here. But a few notes here that I came up with during the break. Number one, according to my Twitter timeline, America is no longer nearly as mad about Ray Rice because apparently the new iPhone is coming out. So, hey, just as quickly as that, people turn their attention to the iPhone. And I'm seeing here, I don't have an iPhone. I don't get into it, but I'm seeing that they're I mean, this is nuts. It's like everything on Twitter. Come on, really? Just inundating the world with this thing. It's a new phone. I get it. It fixes all the mistakes of the previous phone, but acts like they're brand new inventions instead of fixing stupid problems that you should have avoided. But I'm amazed. We just saw the Upton and Verlander deal with the pictures that were leaked from the iCloud of all of these celebrities, nude pictures. This tweet that I just saw made me crack up. It said, Apple can't even keep y'all's nude pictures safe, but you're going to trust them with your credit cards because there, I guess, some new feature here where you register your credit cards with Apple and then you no longer need them when you go anywhere